Tell us about your challenges you witnessed, especially in the initial years of your journey. Also, what can be the best way to overcome the challenges most of the young founders witness?
So, I co-founded a company called Glamyo Health, which is in secondary care surgical space. Since we are in healthcare space, the cost of any mistake in our business or in our domain of work is extremely high, right? So, for us, the biggest challenge right from the start was to maintain 100% success rate, because there is somebody's life which is at stake when we are sort of working across a distributed healthcare setup across 21 cities in India, handling 1,500 surgeries per month, having done 6 lakh plus medical counseling sessions over the last 26 months, right? Then came the mother of all challenges that possibly is a once in a century kind of a phenomenon, which is COVID, which hugely disrupted the supply chain that we had access to during the pandemic. Almost all the hospitals were sort of running short on capacity. So the secondary care surgeries or the elective procedures took definitely a backseat, right? So all in all, I mean, I think all these things, while they were challenges, but they also helped us to stay lean from the very beginning, right? Because we were not sure when the next round of capital is going to come. So, which meant that we always had to innovate. So typically when you have a lot of capital available to you, you start throwing money at problems rather than solving them, right? I mean, so but we didn't have that luxury, right? I mean, we were not sure when the next, yeah. So I think those tough challenges or those tough times and sort of helped us innovate and solve each problem with the utmost frugality, right? I think that DNA has helped us now when the company has scaled. Now when we have sizable sort of a presence across the country, and now when we've raised pre-series B and we are in the process of raising a series B round, right? I mean, so all those frugality which was sort of forced on us has helped us in good stead.
Good to know. Everybody is agreeing on a similar point, that is this decade belongs to India, and very right time for young startups, young entrepreneurs to come up and start up in India. But why do you think so? And what can be the advantages for young enterprises?
Right. So I think most of the things that have fallen in place in India in last 5 years can be attributed to one fundamental shift which happened in India possibly almost 5 years ago, which is the advent of the fast internet courtesy to Jio, right? And because of that high-speed internet accessibility available to even the tier 2 towns, tier 3 towns. Now you can have e-commerce, you can have social commerce, you can have lot of distribution channels which were earlier very difficult to create, right? For example, Hindustan Unilever, just to create a brick and mortar distribution would have taken maybe 15 years, right? Now imagine a startup now with last mile delivery and so on and so forth, being able to do that in, let's say, 10 months, right? Reaching a reasonably sort of sizable presence across the India, right? That is only possible because the supply and demand both can be generated on internet, right? And the high-speed internet is sort of available across the length and breadth of the country, right? So that is one, right? The second thing is what we've seen in last 5 years is that startup as a career has started gaining, I mean, it started gaining acceptance in 2016-17 when it was okay for people to sort of not go for a traditional job out of the B schools and then opt for startups. Now what has happened is that because so many people have made wealth in their ESOPs, right? So it has become, in one sense, a preferred sort of a choice for the good quality talent, right? Now I have many friends who have left their jobs from, let's say, a consultancy like, let's say, McKinsey, right? Just to start a startup because, or just to work in a startup where they are getting a reasonably senior position, and they are also getting a good ESOP, where they see that if they work 3 years, they are in the right space, they'll be able to create a disproportionate impact for themselves, and they'll be able to create a disproportionate sort of a jump in their career, right? I mean, so the good quality talent finding startup as their preferred option over the consulting or the iBanking jobs is again one of the sort of things which I think bodes well for the entrepreneurship in India in general.
Revolutionary for a nation
Yes.
like India. When we talk about health, tech as a sector, as a segment, we saw a less number of startups in comparison to other segments and sectors. What are your views on this? And how do you, in your opinion, how do you see the whole sector evolving in next 2 to 3 years?
Right. So, healthcare in India and more so in any part of the world is a very execution heavy game. And like I started this talk by saying that the cost of any mistake in healthcare is huge, right? In case of an e-commerce, if one order were to go wrong, I think heavens will not fall. But in our case, we need to have a 100% track record because there is somebody's life, somebody's health that we are dealing with. And because of this attending sort of complexity that health care has, I think not many people would want to venture in the services aspect of the healthcare, right? People would want to sort of sell products, right? And products is a fairly scalable game. But services, I think it requires huge execution expertise. And I think while it is the difficult part, but if done properly, that starts to become your competitive edge or moat and differentiator as you go along, right? So I think we had a good amount of confidence that given our past track records, we could sort of execute it, and that's what we've been able to sort of demonstrate in last 26 months that we've been in existence for.
Good to know. Just my final question. What are your next big plans? And what new can we expect from Glamyo Health in next 1 year or
Right.
24 months?
So I think we started this company with one mission of sort of helping the patients ease out their surgical journeys. Right, that was the mission that we still remain true to. Right, so we've helped 6 lakh sort of patients till now. We want to achieve 1 million in the next 1 year. Right, we are expanding, and right now we are in 21 cities across the country. We want to take it to 41 cities by the end of the 2023 calendar year. Right, and the bigger goal certainly is to become a for example, if for critical care treatments, the first name that comes to patient's mind is an Apollo, Fortis or a Max, Medanta, these kind of things. But for elective or for planned procedures, we want to become that destination brand in the minds of the consumer. That is the ultimate goal with which we are working, so that we take the mind share of the customer or of the patient whenever he or she is thinking about getting an planned surgery done. Right, so that is the ultimate goal that we are working towards. Into. Thank you.
Thank you for talking to us.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.